This feels kind of funny. If I'm being honest, this is a scary video to make. I'm just sitting here talking, you know. there's not much to it. Maybe we should start over. Let's start over. One more time. I feel like a shitty father. I don't know. I took some notes, and here's the truth. I'm just gonna talk. I'm just gonna talk today about how I feel lately because I keep wanting to make videos about things, but they take so long, and I'd like to just be consistent with putting things out. And the biggest issue with this video is I'm afraid my kids are gonna see it down the road. But at the same time, I hope they do. I've been wrestling with perfectionism and a bunch of things for years, and one of the things that I read this week that finally tied it all together. So Brene Brown once told me it's one of my favorite parts of perfectionism, and she talks about how perfectionism is like a 20-pound shield you're lugging around everywhere trying to protect yourself, but because you're hiding behind it and you're lugging it around, you're not protecting yourself. You're slowing yourself down, and you're not being seen for who you are. And I understood the metaphor or analogy. I always get those two confused. But what kind of hit me this week was someone said that how did they say it? I took a note here. They said are you giving up your authenticity for connection? And that kind of put it all in perspective for me, because honestly, this is the second time I've tried to film this video, and because the first time I was like, I don't like how it was, and I'm like, what? I'm not being authentic, and it's because I pause and I stutter and I say different things, and I try and censor myself so I seem more perfect. So when I put these out, people see me a certain way, which is funny because when I was doing pole vault vlogs, when I would go do camps or someone would invite me to their place to stay, I would stay there. And the best example I have is my good friend now, Bubba Sparks. He goes, "Hey, you can stay over for a night, maybe two, but then you're gonna have to get going." And we were in Mount Sac, California, and he invited me over to his place. And then after the second day, he's like, "You're not as crazy as you are in those videos. You're actually kind of a calm, interesting guy. You're good. I like hanging around you. You can stay as long as you want. Like, my wife Nancy loves you, and I love you, and I love Bubba." And it kind of rattled me a little bit, and it reminded me of like if someone sees Tobey Maguire and they're like, "Hey, Spider-Man, what's going on?" You're like, "I'm not Spider-Man. I'm I'm Toby." And so I'm trying to not be Spider-Man as much. And so this is my second time filming this. It's my attempt to not do that. But what I'd like to talk about is I constantly feel like a shitty father. And there's lots of things kind of rattling around in my brain like while I do this. And I was feeling pretty good. I was able to do the things that fill my bucket up. But recently, Carrie went back to work. And when Amelia was born, I made the conscious decision that I was going to stay home more. I was going to do less work, less team hoot, less stuff, and give all my energy to her. And I did. But what ended up happening was, because I was giving all of this energy and attention to her, I stopped doing everything else. I stopped making videos. I stopped making new content for Team Hoot, which is like this business I grew, and I'm actually proud of it. And I feel like it's helped a lot of people, not just with pole vault, but mentally as well. And it turned into this really cool thing of connecting people and and being able to voice my opinions and things and connect to people when I've always kind of had trouble connecting with people authentically, as this video shows. So I did a lot less of that, but I spent so much time with her, and it's beautiful. And this is where I wrestle with if I want her to see this, which is like I don't know how to give myself more time. And when Luke was born a few months ago, he just turned 3 months. Carrie and I had this great 50-50 parenting situation where I could go on a run, or I could try and make a video, or I could do these things because she was home for 3 months and now she just went back to work, and I'm watching, and she's working nights, so I'm watching the kids a lot. And I guess part of me feels like a shitty person when I get stressed out and I just want a break. I want some of my own time, some time to myself. I don't want to say time away from them. I just need to breathe. I've always kind of recharged by being on my own, and with 2 kids, that's impossible. And I don't know how to do it very well yet. It's like I've told Carrie, when you have a newborn, it feels like you lose an arm, and so you can't do things like that require 2 arms, including washing the dishes. And when you have a 3-month-old and a 2-year-old, and if they're both crying at the exact same time, I don't know how to choose what one to go to first. It was easy. If Amelia was crying, I would run over and she was the one. Piece of cake. Not a problem at all. But with 2, and they're both screaming bloody murder, I have no idea how to do that. I do it. I don't feel good about it or choosing it. Or if Luke needs a bottle, I don't know why I feel crappy about this, but instead of trying to hold him while he's crying to make a bottle, I put him down really quick so I can make a bottle faster and leave him alone crying. And this is maybe part of that perfectionism part of me that's just kind of running rampant, is I think I grew up being taught, whether it was social media or other places, that this parenthood thing should be beautiful and it should be like, oh, I'm gonna self-sacrifice everything for these kids. And in the movies, it's bullshit. I'm finding it doesn't really work that way. And the more I try and just give more of my energy, because it literally feels like you have fuel in your tank. It's literally like a car, and every time they want something from you, even if it's to play, and this is where I feel the most guilt, is it requires energy. And you're not just giving it to one of the kids, you're giving it to 2, and then you're trying to give it to your wife, and then you're trying to give it, we have pets, and then I'm trying to keep this business running, and then I'm trying to respond to emails and get books out and make videos that fill my bucket, but it doesn't fill it enough. And then I have to get enough sleep, and I have to eat right, and I have to, it's just fucking hard, man. And I'm struggling with it. And I feel like a whiny bitch right now. I really do. And this is why I've been thinking about making this for. It took 2 weeks for me to decide to finally sit down and make this. And because I feel this way, is the exact reason I feel like I have to make it. Because I don't want to trade my authenticity for connection anymore. I don't want to hide how I'm really feeling. I don't want Amelia or Luke to grow up and think parenthood is supposed to be this way, and then they realize it's not, and then they beat themselves up over it. I'd rather have them watch a video like this with their dad. Hopefully they love me at that time, or at least respect me enough to care about anything I have to say. And that feels funny in and of itself, right? Because they might not. But it's that thought alone that makes me want to try and be something else, which is trading authenticity for connection, which isn't real connection, right? They're connecting with some character you're playing or some mask. I don't want them to do that either. But I guess going back, my point is I hope they see this and realize that there's a lot of shit that parents don't talk about. They don't talk about the hard stuff. They don't talk about it. And I think we should. Because it is hard. It's hard for Carrie going to work 40 hours a week when she just wants to be home. I've got a lot to say about that as well. And it's hard for me when I created a job where I could, free up more time to do the things that help with my mental health and to help with doing the things that help my mental health, like creative things. And then you have kids and it feels like a lot of that, I don't want to say it's taken away. That feels wrong, but it's harder to get them in. And so I caught myself lately beating myself up more than usual. Like, you're fucking shitty father. You're garbage. You shouldn't even have kids. You should just leave. They're better without you being around. Luke's in here right now, actually, next to me. This is how I'm trying to get this in. I'm going to peek on him, make sure he's okay. Yeah, he's good. So one of the things I gave up from Amelia, I was meditating every single day. I would wake up. It was my morning routine. I would wake up, maybe jump into a cold shower, come downstairs, maybe do some breath work. I don't know. I was trying Wim Hof stuff for a while there. Some of it was good. Some of it, I don't know, didn't really stick. But I had a really long meditation practice where it was extremely beneficial to the point where I would do it and I would start going, I don't know if this is helping me anymore. It was like that good. Like, have you ever done a workout routine and you're like, I don't know if I need to work out anymore. This just everything, nothing's really changing, and then everything feels fine and everything feels great. Maybe I should stop, which is the worst thing you could ever do, right? That happens with nutrition, it happens with exercise, it happens with all the good things you do in your life. But I kept doing it because I've been there before, and I kept doing it. That wasn't until Amelia was born, because it is hard to have a routine or a schedule with a newborn child who isn't on a routine or a schedule. And so when you'd wake up, or when she would wake up crying in the middle of the night, and and I didn't sleep much, neither did Carrie, the last thing I was going to do in the morning was try and meditate. I was going to try and get this baby taken care of because she was crying. She needed food. I needed food. I needed sleep. It was just one of the first things to go. And then I kept thinking, I'll get back to it. I'll get back to meditating. And then I would get one in here or there. And then a lot of time passed. And I just didn't do it. I noticed like a year and a half passed. And I was like, I don't really meditate anymore. And it was the one thing, the biggest thing in my life that helped with my mental health, and my moods. It's amazing. I should talk about this at length at some point. So what ended up happening was I noticed this and I tried to get them in at night, which isn't helpful for me at all because sometimes you'd meditate and I'd fall asleep in the middle of it. I mean, especially when you have a kid running around all day and you're freaking tired. So that's not really meditating. That's just sleeping. And so that's another problem. I tried it again when Luke was born. And I started getting in meditation a little bit more when Carrie was around for maternity leave, because she would take both kids to bed at like 7 or 8 o'clock, and then I could get 20 minutes into meditation, and it was good. I started feeling better, but again, it wasn't consistent, and it was night, and I didn't have a routine, and so it was kind of scattered and hit or miss, and then there'd be some family junk going on, and then you get home at 10 o'clock, and yeah, they're all just excuses, right? And what everybody says, everybody has excuses, just like we all have assholes and they all stink, right? Yeah, that saying right there. Or armpits if you don't like assholes, whatever. I choose assholes. So then Carrie goes back to work. She's working nights, so she leaves at 6 and gets home at 6. She works 12-hour shifts, and I plan on doing this meditation thing again. And sometimes the kids go to bed 7:30, sometimes 9. Depends if Amelia gets a nap during the day or if Luke got enough bottle, So I was getting frustrated because I wasn't meditating. I wasn't doing anything that was filling my bucket, and this is the last 3 weeks. And I'm watching the kids a lot. From 6 to 6, and then Carrie gets home at 6:37, and then she needs to sleep because she just worked a 12-hour night shift. So then I watch them till like 12 or 1. So it's like 6 to 1. And then we got kind of tag team the kids for like 4 hours, 5 hours. I try and get a run in there. And then she goes back to work. And by that point, with that much time trying to watch kids and waking up in the middle of the night, feeding Luke bottles, multiple times, I'm not sleeping very good. Meditation kind of fell off the wayside again. And because of that, I started becoming reactive. I've learned with meditation, for me, one of the biggest things it does for me is it creates space between my emotions and how I respond to them. So I have this like huge reaction, like emotion in me, and meditation makes it so I don't just react, I can have space and then make a conscious decision how I react. And it hit me the other week again. We were out just doing a Costco run, and Amelia wanted some water. We were in the van. I don't know if I want to say this because I feel really shameful about it, but she picked up her water. She wanted it. She was happy as a clam. I gave her water. And then out of nowhere, she picked it up to throw it. And this was after 3 days of Carrie's night shifts. And so I was not doing well, I guess you could say. I was stressed and tired, trying to just catch up, and it wasn't there. And if you throw that, I go, don't you dare throw that water. If you throw that water, we're done. And she threw it, and it landed outside under the van. And I just picked it up, and then I slammed it back into her car seat holder. And then I was like, you fucking dick. You're a fucking dick. And I'm ashamed to say there was a couple other situations that were similar, and as soon as it would happen, I would just sit there and go, you're a fucking shitty dad. You literally are being like a stay-at-home dad, or chose to spend more time with your kids so this wouldn't happen. So you wouldn't put this into them. It fucking sucks. So I don't know. It's like, I know there's still a lot of issues in me, and I know I've done a lot of work on my mental health, and I know I've done a lot of work figuring out how mental health works and in me and other people, and it takes work, and I was doing pretty fucking good. And then it's like, and I'm not blaming kids. I'm not blaming my children. But I am saying that by taking care of them, if you're not getting enough sleep and taking care of yourself, and you're overly stressed, like these things will happen. These things happened, I guess. Maybe they don't happen to everybody. I don't know. That's why I'm trying to talk about this. And I don't know what a good dad is. I don't know if anybody knows. I don't know what I know what I don't want to be. I don't want to be reactive. And I knew that. And I immediately noticed it. And I started meditating as a priority. I think I've done 7 days in a row now. And it's fucking insane how much space has been already created between when I'm getting overly stimulated and stressed out, and it allows me to respond to what's going on. And it's what's stupid is I knew it all along. Like, meditation was the thing. It is the thing that's helped me more than anything else. But I don't know if it's a societal thing or something I learned through my parents or whatever else. I had this message that I have to self-sacrifice everything I'm doing. I have to give all of my time to these kids. It has to be painful. It has to be hard. It has to be rough. And man, that wasn't working. That doesn't work for me. I need to do the things that fill my bucket so I can pour it into theirs. And that sounds so stupid. It sounds like a fucking motivational poster or a postcard. And so I hate saying it, but it's true. And I don't know. I think I just want my kids. I'm trying to give them the skills that I wish I had growing up. And I'm sure my parents would have felt the same way. I'm sure they were like, God damn, if I would have only known what I know now to give it to them, things would have been better. And I guess what's hard is that in being authentic, I feel like I'm risking connection. Because even if somebody likes the character I create, they like you, you show them who you really are. You just don't know. They could, these people could leave. And I've kind of accepted that I could live alone. I don't think I wouldn't like it. But I definitely feel alone when I'm playing a character and people don't, and people like it too, because that's not really me. It doesn't feel like there's real connection there. And fucking sucks too. And I guess what I'm maybe most afraid of is I really love my kids. I don't want to break them. I don't want to hurt them in any way. And I don't know how I can say that any better. I don't always feel like I have the tools to give them everything to yeah. I don't always feel qualified to be a parent. At least a good one. I feel like I'm 65 or 70% all right, but man, it's like this is their Amelia's so fucking smart, dude, and she and you look at her and you forget she's only been around for 2 years. Like 2 fucking years. That's not a long time to be a human. And you look at and you look at Luke. He's been around for 3 months. It's so easy to forget that they're little humans that don't know anything and their brain isn't even developed yet. Like it's still working on it. And I know this because I've been trying to fix myself forever. And I know I'm not broken. My body's just responding to the environment I grew up in and the conditioning it was given. Like I'm well aware of how all this works. But it still freaks me out that I could give them some wonky wiring by not being good enough. I think that's why I think I just got to the bottom of it. So maybe I should end with this. One of my very, very good friends, John Townsend, his daughter went off to college, and I asked him if he was nervous, just trying to kind of bust his balls a little bit, like, "Hey, your daughter's leaving, you gonna cry?" You know, we kind of do that in a nice, fun way, you know, not a mean way that I should be canceled or anything, but kind of like, "You sad about this, man? You can cry. It's all right to cry, but you gonna cry? You need some tissues," kind of thing. And he was like, "No, she's ready. She's ready to go. You know, it feels weird if she didn't do the next thing. She's done everything to move on. Like her wings are open. She's ready to fly, you know?" And I was like, "Oh, that's no one's ever told me it like that before." Most parents I've ever heard are trying to keep their kids in their house, and it's about them. It's about and he was like, "This is about my kid. She's ready." And strangely enough, I want to give credit where credit is due. When I went to Caroline White's son Henry's grad party, she said the same thing. He's like, "Nah, he's ready. He's barely here anyways. He's hanging out with his friends. He's being social. He's a human being. He doesn't need me as much anymore. We've done our job. He's ready to fly." I just thought that was so cool because I haven't heard that before, and that felt about as healthy as you can make it. And the thing John told me was when he talked about Brooke, he told her, "I just want you to know your mom and I did the best that we could. We thought everything we did was the best, but we're human and we fucked up. And you probably don't even know where we fucked up, and we don't even know where we fucked up, but we fucked up. Because that's what parents do. And so we're here for you. If you need help untangling some things in your brain, processing something, if you have questions, or if you need to talk to somebody, I just want you to know I love you and we're here for you. I don't know if I'm there yet. I think I'm on my way there. I'm still wrestling with holding on to the perfectionism and letting go of, I don't know, not letting go, but giving up my authenticity for connection. So, but maybe I need to say that every day, is that maybe that's the point with my kids, right? And I need to think about that every day. Maybe meditate on it. That if I can teach you guys anything, I'm going to be quick to apologize. I'm going to show you that it's okay to be human and make mistakes. That perfectionism is bullshit. You can't achieve it. I like the idea that by chasing perfectionism, you land in excellence. But there's also the idea that if you're chasing infinities, you'll never get there. So be careful what you chase. And that maybe you'll watch this one day, or you'll listen to it one day, and maybe you'll have these same thoughts or feelings too. And I don't know, maybe there's something in here that can help you. And I didn't try and make any of that rhyme. It just kind of came out that way. But yeah, all right. That was roughly 30 minutes. I don't know if anybody's watching these or not, but if you are and you let me ramble through this, I appreciate it. I'm really just making these, I think, for myself and for my kids down the road. So with that all said, I'm going to try and wrestle. I'm going to try and battle with feeling like a shitty father and just feel like one who's trying to learn how to be one. Because while Amelia's only 2 years old, I've only been a parent for 2 years as well. Oh, it is hard to do that, though. I don't like trying to figure out how to be a parent on the fly. I don't know if there is another way. But I guess you keep leading with love. All right, well, I got to get out of here. I'm going to go to sleep now. Luke's still sleeping next to me, and Amelia's upstairs. I've been watching her on this camera down here. So, guys, life's meant to be experienced, and curiosity will get you there. See ya.